Finishing with the toilet, I turned my attention to the shower. A glance at the drain revealed that, to Ramtide's query, the thing was a waffle stomper.
Just like you poop in the shower, and then you mash it down with your foot into that drain thing, and then you go wash your foot off in the toilet.
Hello there, friends. Trace Amounts of Science. Today we've got a couple of Neckbeard one-offs that have been sitting in my personal subreddit r/ReddX reads. I figure we crack them open, drink the juice. It probably won't be too disgusting, so join me as we journey through these tales, won't you? Neckbeard Double Take, 1 day ago by user Twat Waffle Whitney. Yeah, that's a name you could choose. Welcome to ReddX Industries, Whitney. I know ReddX is trying to move away from NeckbeardStories, so I decided to finally submit my short Neckbeard encounter in the hopes that our humble Lord ReddX would grace my scribbling with his melodious voice. Or malodorous voice, in some cases, I guess. I do want to move away from NeckbeardStories a little bit, but the numbers are telling me that I shouldn't. And sometimes we gotta listen to the numbers. I can still do fun stuff a couple times a week. And honestly, I do still have fun with these on some level. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what tomorrow brings. Quick warning that this contains attempted schmexual assault. And this story takes place 10 years ago, 2 months after I turned 19. I had spent the previous year interning with a well-known horse trainer. To this day, it's the coolest thing that I've ever done. Yeah, train horses is awesome. Now you too can control thousands of pounds of muscle with only the power of your voice. OP says I left home for a year-long internship at a healthy 112 pounds at 5'1" and returned at 105 pounds. Yeah, putting some farm work in. That'll make the pounds come off. I also had brown hair down to my waist, and my eyes appeared large in my too thin face that I was mistaken for a 13 or 14-year-old on a regular basis. I think I could have been considered beard bait. Yeah, basically any petite woman got to keep her head on a swivel, like extra. Now back to living with my parents. I needed employment. My options were limited in our small town, and I didn't fancy trying to work at one of the crumbling fast food joints, so I applied for our local cleaning company. In the small town where my grandma lives, there's one woman who runs the Panda Express, all of it. Granted, it's a small town, but goddamn, she needs some help. Cleaning company's good too, though. Being a maid sounded perfect. It combined my love of cleaning and my intense curiosity into the lives of strangers. Oh no, don't do that. They can make me feel all self-conscious when you come in here and shit. Nah. Don't tell me that. I loved the idea of peeking into people's homes and getting a glimpse of what took place behind twitching curtains. It's not all that interesting. Bunch of animals smoke a J, scream into a microphone. That's my day. After convincing the owner that I was indeed an adult and not a small child with a fake ID, I was hired. Yeah, because you're tiny, you can get into the small spaces. Go clean out the air ducts. The owner placed me with 2 senior maids, who we will call Laverne and Shirley. Laverne and Shirley were former chain-smoking meth muppets that now resembled shriveled craisins in their mid-40s. They had given up smoking for vaping, specifically banana nut bread vape. Oh, you cleaning up my house and leaving propylene glycol vapor everywhere? Like, you think being meth muppets would help them with the cleaning job? But people that are twacked out aren't actually all that good at cleaning. They just spend like 30 minutes on one spot on the counter. I am glad they kicked the habit, though, of course. Laverne and Shirley had one other notable idiosyncrasy. Laverne would say something apropos of nothing, like, "Yesterday was too sunny for me," and finish the thought with a sing-song, "You know," and then Shirley would repeat, "You know." This would continue for the entire drive, between puffs of the banana nut bread vape. To this day, I can't hear someone say, "you know," without muttering, "you know," under my breath. Yeah, I identify with that too, you know? One fateful Tuesday, I pulled into work, hopped out of my 1993 Skylark, and into our cleaning van, just like I had done for the past 3 weeks. Shirley,
"Hey there, OP. We're going to a new house today. It'll be our first time there. We might be there longer than usual."
Laverne,
"Hopefully you packed a good lunch. We can't stop today, you know."
Shirley,
"You know."
OP, Yeah, cool. I love cleaning new houses, and yeah, I did pack a lunch, and we were off on a new adventure. And getting paid for the adventure, which is the best kind of adventure. The light babbling of Laverne and Shirley's inane chattering belied the utter horror that awaited me. Laverne turned into a housing development of McMansions, huge houses with like 2 square feet of lawn, all built about 5 feet apart. Yes, living in the lap of luxury, aren't we? We unloaded our equipment, swung open the door, and revealed a beautiful, almost immaculate home. Okay, sweet. This should be a quick and easy job. We took a brief tour of the house to familiarize ourselves with the layout. That's fine, just don't go in the basement. You don't want to know what's in the basement, Shirley.
The order says downstairs kitchen, bathroom, and living room, upstairs bathroom, and basement bathroom.
Oh, it's not gonna be good, is it? OP, do you know how to get to the basement? Laverne?
No, this is our first time here too, you know.
Shirley?
You know!
So, we continued to familiarize ourselves by opening every door in the house to find the basement. After opening doors to pantries, bedrooms, closets, and an office, Laverne finally found the door that led to the basement. Laverne?
OP, Shirley, over here.
The door Laverne found opened to a cement staircase that disappeared into a dark abyss. Yeah, I'm not gonna be the first one down there. Kick Laverne in the back. You're going first. You like it or not? Shirley took the lead and pushed past us and flipped on the light. The stairwell, now illuminated, led to a brightly lit exercise room. Oh, nice. We all made our way down and surveyed the numerous and expensive pieces of workout equipment as we wandered deeper into the basement. Dude, a home gym. Maybe even more than a pool, that's the dream. No, I want a pool first. But we'll work on the home gym thing. That sounds awesome. The basement was narrow, but seemed to run the full length of the house. An opening to another hallway was at the opposite end of the exercise room. The hall was lit by a dull bulb, which cast a yellow light on the awful carpet that it oversaw. The center of the carpet was a deep brown, and the edges were a sad, dusty pink, which is the original color. The carpet's pile had long since had its will crushed and now laid completely flat. Stains of all shapes and viscosity made parts of the brown, depressed carpet even darker and even crustier. Yeah, don't take your shoes off if you want to keep your socks clean. To the left were 2 closed doors. The first door had light leaking out around its poorly fitted frame, and the second was completely dark. Oh, which door do you open first? This is like a choose-your-own-adventure. I mean, most of life is. The gym room smelled musty and a little bit sweaty, but nowhere near bile-inducing. I mean, it is a gym, after all. However, the smell emanating from the hall threatened to steal my breakfast. Laverne and Shirley stood at the entrance to the hall, not daring to step on that carpet. Shirley,
OP, go open the first door.
OP, all right, sure. On tiptoe, I went to the first door, grabbed the greasy knob, turned it, and pushed. A wave of ammonia slapped me like a pimp named Slickback and face banged my nose. Raw dog.
Oh yeah, look at this, get real deep in there. It's never coming out.
Stinks like sex in here.
I stepped back into the hall, trying to get a fresh-ish breath, but it was too late. Opening the door let the full force of rank smell gush out into the hall. So instead, I pulled my shirt over my nose, which sort of acted like a prophylactic against the assault on my olfactory senses. Now that's quick thinking. Good thing it wasn't poisonous mustard gas, or else you'd have to pee in your shirt and put it over your mouth. Laverne and Shirley had been watching, but when I reeled back, they both came forward to chastise me for being dramatic. Shirley,
come on, it can't be that. Oh, hell.
Laverne,
stop being oh, fuck me sideways.
The smell had finally wafted to them as they came forward, and they too pulled their shirts over their faces. Yeah, not so high and mighty now, are we? At least we're all suffering together. The three of us stood in the doorway, surveying the horror. A sink to the left is covered in black something, mold, dust. Curiosity made me take a step forward, peering into the sink, and I saw hair. Short black hairs, curly black hairs, and long strands of black hair covered the sink in a fine layer. I looked at the ground and saw that it, too, was covered with an assortment of hairs. Is this like the butthole shaving parlor that's attached to the gym?
Our work covers all areas from the belly button to the chode, and we make sure each customer is fully satisfied.
I don't think I need one of those. I willed myself to look up at the mirror which hung over the sink, and the mirror was so thickly speckled with white and pinkish spots that I could hardly see my face. My stomach lurched and rolled. I knew too well what those milky spots were from. Toothpaste? It's just toothpaste, right? Tell me it's just toothpaste. Then I went to the porcelain throne that was once a functional toilet, but had since become a biohazardous receptacle some time ago. Brown sludge filled the entire bowl. Yeah, no mystery as to what the brown sludge is, I guess. Thick yellow-brown stains colored the outer rim and ran down the base, pooling at the bottom. The sight and the overpowering stench finally got me, and I retched. Laverne,
Okay, I'll knock out the upstairs pot. Laverne, you start on the kitchen, and I'll help you when I'm finished. OP, you get started down here.
oh my god, you're really sticking the newbie with the worst. I guess that is how it be sometimes.
Welcome to the job, greenhorn.
Spineless people pleasing me croaked. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you don't want to get fired for not dealing with a biohazard. I'm pretty sure you can refuse this. Please, for the love of all that is holy, refuse this. OP doesn't. Laverne and Shirley quickly walked away and booked it back upstairs. I went to my cleaning caddy, opened the bottle of bleach, and inhaled deeply. I would be so tempted to just take a drink right now.
I'm done.
You ain't making me do this, glug, glug, glug. The bleach burnt in my nose, but it also gave me a little relief from the putrid smells gang-banging my nostrils. Next, I pulled on my thick rubber gloves, summoned all the willpower I possessed, and headed back to the toilet. I pushed the handle, hoping to flush that fecal McSlurry, but nothing happened. Yeah, couldn't be that easy. I took the top off the tank and found that the pull chain had come undone. The chain reattached, I pushed again. Water rushed into the bowl, and the liquid butt fudge began to rise. Uh-oh. Sheer panic ripped through my heart as I contemplated having to mop old, stagnant doo-doo off the floor. Yeah, almost made this job like 100 times harder. The slurry came level with the rim of the bowl when suddenly I heard a air from the pipes escaped, and slowly the sewage oozed down the toilet drain and away from the rim of the bowl. Phew! Thank God for small miracles.
God had nothing to do with this.
One crisis averted, I decided to start on the sink while the toilet's tank refilled. It was going to take 2 or 3 more flushes to get down all that sludge. I began scrubbing and wiping, letting myself get lost in my own head as I performed the familiar tasks. After about 5 minutes of ferocious cleaning, a sound cut into my consciousness, a heavy snort of breathing. I looked up and caught in the mirror a form filling the doorway. I jumped and spun around to face the thing. I hastily babbled, OP, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You scared me. Hi, I'm OP. I'm here with the local cleaning company. Did you need to use the bathroom? I'll be done pretty shortly if you can wait. The thing stood silently, his mass filling the doorway. A light gray shirt with dark stains under each arm struggled and failed to contain the bulk of his abdomen. I could almost hear the cries of agony from the threads of fabric that made up his tortured navy sweatpants, which were obviously being stretched to their limit. The flesh was so abundant on his face that it rendered it almost featureless. Angry red pimples dappled the entire landscape of his skin. This is so wonderfully descriptive that I'm actually terrified. Can you kick him in the nards and run? He's not saying anything, and I find that pretty menacing. Nobody would blame you if you were in fear for your life right now. Not a jury in the land would convict you. Kick him in the ball bag. Go ahead. It'll keep you safe, and it'll be funny. OP says, okay, well, I could step out now if you can't wait. The thing just stood there, staring. By this time, I had huffed enough bleach that the bathroom smells were bearable. However, the thing's body odor had Bill Cosby'd all my defenses and was having its way with my piriform cortex. As nonchalantly as possible, I brought my bleach-soaked rag up to my face, like wiping sweat from my brow, and I took another whiff of that bleach, and we just stood, staring at each other for a long, awkward minute. OP? Okay, well, if you need the bathroom, let me know. I turned and went back to cleaning. I flushed the toilet for a third time. Now the toilet water was just cloudy with sediment. I say again, I love how this is written. I scrubbed at the leftover streaks that had crusted and clung to the bowl. A fourth and final flush had the toilet looking, well, as good as it was ever going to look again. I might have been looking at this disgusting commode, but all of my attention was on the figure lurking in the doorway. I hope you're keeping him in your peripheral vision or something like that, because, yeah, this is foreboding. As I got on my knees, intent on cleaning up the thick, viscous yellow puddles, I heard the thing's breathing increase and then fade. I dared a glance over my shoulder, and thankfully the thing was gone. He either didn't like what he saw, or he liked what he saw so much that he needs to go take care of it right now. Finishing with the toilet, I turned my attention to the shower. A glance at the drain revealed that, to Ramtide's query, the thing was a waffle stomper.
Just like you poop in the shower, and then you mash it down with your foot into that drain thing, and then you go wash your foot off in the toilet.
Clearly, with the toilet out of commission, the thing had been using the shower to relieve themselves. Hair was sprinkled liberally, all over it. Well, look at that, a big hairy mud pie. I think I need to vomit. I gave myself a little pep talk. OP says, okay, I'm almost done. I can do this. I'm almost finished. And then from the doorway, a voice gurgled. It was the thing. Hello, milady. I whip around, slightly less startled this time, but twice as confused. The thing is talking, and it changed clothes. It now wore a black shirt and cargo shorts, which fit him only slightly better than his previous attire. Oh, wow, he did away with the sweatpants. He's really putting on airs for you, OP. Trying to make moves happen. OP says, hi. Do you need the bathroom now? I'm pretty much finished. I just need to wipe down the shower. I fixed the toilet, so it flushes now. The thing.
Clever and beautiful. May I know my lady's name?
I was a little confused, considering I did tell him my name about 15 minutes ago. But then, I also struggle remembering names sometimes. This is a second chance, so you can lie to him so he doesn't stalk you on Facebook. Please, for the love of all that is holy, lie about it! But OP doesn't. She says, hi, I'm OP, with the local cleaning company. I noticed movement over the thing's shoulder, another shape in the dim hallway, and that is when everything clicked. I remembered seeing pictures lining the upstairs hall. Pictures of a mom, dad, and two identical, cherubic little boys. Twins. Well then, this must be Thing 2. and I had previously met Thing 1. Dear God. Basement-dwelling twin neckbeards. Well, can we get the Cat in the Hat back in here to put him in the fucking box and take him away? They just want to have fun. I'd like to introduce you to Thing 2 and Thing 1.
Thing 1, Comrade Sally, Thing 1. Thing 2, Comrade Sally, Thing 2.
I know that Cat in the Hat book front ways and back ways. My kids ask me to read it every single night. I hope there's more Cat in the Hat references. Do they have a fish in a pot? Thing 2 says, O.P. A lovely name for a lovely lady. I need your assistance. I accidentally kicked my computer mouse under my bed. Neither I nor Thing 1 can reach it. Perhaps Milady would be willing to, bend over and retrieve it. Uh-oh. He did it on purpose. Don't let it be like this, for God's sake. OP says, I'm not supposed to do anything that's not on our cleaning order. Thing 2. I'm not asking you to clean anything. I'm simply requesting that you do something for me. As a favor. Surely helping your client reach something isn't against your rules. It'll only take a minute. OP says, I guess not. Just let me spray the shower down and then I'll help you out. Thing 2 says, excellent. And then lumbers back to their room. Thing 1 stood for a moment longer in the hallway, staring before waddling after its brother. I finished up the shower, gathered the trash and used cleaning wipes, and put my supplies back in the caddy. I unscrewed the bleach bottle one more time to inhale the fumes that would save me before walking into the next room and entering the Thing's nest. Do they share a room? Couple little twin beds in each corner with their fat spilling over the sides. Oh, you're a mess. What hit me first this time was a sweaty, musty smell, underlined by the salty, stale scent of smegma. No. It's like Havarti cheese baked in a football helmet. Then, as I stepped forward, the unmistakable stank of rotting food came and edged itself in, joining the melange of smells battling inside my nostrils. This room was also narrow and long, unlike its occupants. On the right and left sides of the wall were desks, and each had 2 large monitors. LED gamer lights were hung on the wall, but the thick layer of dust that coated everything in the room dimmed their rainbow light pattern. The only other lighting in the room came from a narrow window set up high into the wall, and of course the glow from the monitors. Gross, dude. I bet they have like an Ahegao wallpaper or something weird. But the scant light clearly illuminated dishes, pizza boxes, cans, and assorted bottles filled with suspicious liquids that lay in heaps around the desk. Stray bits of trash were scattered everywhere else. Beneath my feet was brown-crusted flooring that might have resembled a carpet once upon a time. On the back wall were 2 full beds set end to end. Thing 2 sat on the right bed, and Thing 1 sat in a chair, staring at something on one of the monitors. Bro, you gonna crawl around on that carpet, shifting around the Shirley P-filled bottles to find some fat guy's computer mouse? You're a big boy. Just lift up the bed, okay? It's a full. I'm sure you're strong enough. Even with your brother's help, I'm sure you can get under there. Thing 2 says, it's here, milady. Under my bed. It's the closest a woman's ever been to his bed. Holding my breath, I walked forward, knelt on the hard, stiff carpet, and peered under the bed. The mouse lay right there at the edge. Surely Thing 2 could have reached that far himself. I picked it up and held the mouse out to him. Thing 2, oh, thank you. You're so kind and helpful. Perhaps you can sit with me for a moment and talk. It's so rare that I get to meet such a
a beautiful lady.
No thanks, bitch. I got a job to do. Like, it might be fun to skate off from the job if it was anybody but you, but you're disgusting inside and out. I have to leave. OP says, yeah, you're welcome, but I gotta go. Laverne and Shirley are waiting for me, and we have more work to do. I turned to walk away when I felt something I will never forget. Uh-oh. A pudgy, soft, clammy hand gripped my wrist. It was so soft, like a baby's hand that had been enlarged. I think that's what my hands feel like. It's just computer people hands. I had never felt someone's hand before or since that was so fleshy and uncalloused. Sometimes as I fall asleep, I feel that hand gripping my wrist again. Well, that must be absolutely terrifying, like that dream that Tommy had in the Rugrats about his baby brother. He grows super big and stuff like that. Elijah, could we cut that in?
Where do you think you're going, sister?
They might make it seem like a lot of fun if you watch a movie like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid or whatever it is. But it's not. It's not. The child is going to throw a fit and shake the seismograph. OP says, I froze and looked at this monstrous beast that grasped me. His fleshy, acne-riddled face smirked back at me in the dimness. I heard a groan and creaking metal as Thing 1 exited his chair and stood behind me. Fear now engulfed me to my bones. No doubt, dude. Is there anything sharp in your cleaning caddy? Even if you just try to poke him in the eye with a fluffy duster. Like, we can't let this happen. It's fight or flight, and if you can't fly, then yeah, we have to fight. OP says I had been too distracted by the disgusting state of everything to consider that Thing 2 might have had ill intentions. Or maybe I had inhaled enough fumes from cleaning supplies to cloud my judgment. Thing 1 took a step toward us as Thing 2 began pulling me towards him. I braced myself, but the floor was slick, and I slid closer to Thing 2. Oh my god. I wanted to scream. I wanted to say something, but fear had gripped my throat as hard as Thing 2 gripped my arm. Then I heard a voice. Shirley.
OP! OP! Where the hell are you, girl?
Shirley called from the hallway. Her raspy smoker's voice sounded like an angel's call to me, and her call gave me the strength to finally speak. OP, Shirley, I'm over here! Thing 1 plopped back into his chair, and Thing 2, startled by the sound of another person, loosened his grip enough that I could yank myself free. I picked up my cleaning caddy and ran from the room as Shirley's head peeked around the door. Jesus, dude, this could have turned out so wrong. So horrible. I'm glad you had backup. These are just a couple of terminally online weirdos sitting in their goon cave, and they don't see women as people, but they especially don't see cleaning women as people.
I hired her. I can do whatever I want.
Somebody needs to barricade the door and set the entire basement on fire. I'm so glad this didn't turn out different, dude. That is a narrow escape indeed. Shirley says,
Come on, lazy girl. We've been done for 10 minutes already. You're making us late. I told you, you gotta go faster, girl.
OP says, yes, ma'am. Sorry. Back upstairs, I shakily helped load all of our cleaning things back into the van, and we left. A week later, I quit and found better employment. Before that day, I had been rather naive, but I would never allow myself to get into another situation like that again. That's what it's all about, lessons learned. I'm sorry you had to learn it like almost the hardest way, but those are the ones that we remember, I guess. I know my story's short and Neckbeard light, but I hope you found some entertainment in it. Anyways, ReddX, if you read this, thank you, and if you don't, thank you for the hours of entertainment that you've given me. This story was a pleasure to read, OP. I hope you have more stories. I'd like you to join the Discord, and maybe I could talk to you about writing scripts for some other interesting stuff. Because yeah, the style's 100% on point. As far as the story being Neckbeard light, no it wasn't. We got a double dose. The bad thing almost happened. I would never brush off that experience like, it wasn't bad enough for me. No, I'm so glad that nothing bad happened to OP. I'm sorry you had to be in the situation at all, but thanks for sharing with us. I'm glad that you got to move on to something bigger and hopefully better. I guess we can all rest assured with the knowledge that Thing 1 and Thing 2 never will. It's Mommy and Daddy's basement gym for perpetuity. They never use the gym part. Sit around cruising Twitter or YouTube comments and just being a hateful piece of shit. I guarantee you that's what their life consists of. And look how it's manifested for them. So they'll continue down their road, I'll continue down mine, and thankfully never the twain shall meet. The story was long enough. I could end it right here and be like, yeah, another short episode, but I don't think I'm going to do that because I saw another Neckbeard one-off in here. That one's relatively short too, and maybe we could just bulk it out a little bit. So we'll hop over there and make it do what it do. Let me tell you about Chaps by Glamour Hattress. Glad to have you on the channel indeed. Alright, so I work on a watch floor for the Navy. That's pretty much been my entire time in. However, I did just cross a rate because my last rate made me a little miserable, but it kept me off a ship for over 10 years, so I can't complain too much. But sometimes you get some very special sailors that just make you do a double take. Yeah, I've seen them before. They mostly work in IT. But I definitely don't blame you for not wanting to get on a ship. That's why I picked my rate. I was a PC postal clerk and then shift to logistics specialist right before I left. What was your rate, OP? I don't know if we'll ever get answers. I'm gonna call this guy Chaps because he wanted/wants to be a chaplain. Interesting choice, but yeah, okay. I have no problem with him wanting to go after that. Follow your bliss and stuff, dude, but don't talk crap about how the rate is so easy while you're in it, and also when you can't do the most basic things, as you will read about shortly. What does a chaplain really even have to do? You mop the floor, you talk about Jesus, bing bang boom.
Come on, man! That's too easy!
I'll call myself Chevalier because viva la fuck it, I guess. So, I feel like I need to tell you a little bit about Chaps before we get into the story. Chaps has a habit of never completing a work set because he has to go to medical all the time, to the point where our team eventually thought it was either self-inflicted or that he was faking it, since he was a hefty boy. I mean, he might actually have some problems, but that's why the military does their best to screen for medical things like this. If it was truly legitimate, I don't think he would have gotten in at all. You know how many times I went to medical when I was in the Navy? Like twice. And both times it was because I got into a fight and they made me go. He also never had a proper uniform because he was so big and didn't want to buy new stuff. Ugh. Are they not writing him up for this? One time I had seen him use the same undershirt 2 days in a row. How did I know it was the same one? Because the stain was very distinct. When I told him, hey, you need some new shirts because that bleach stain is unsat, chaps. He, for some reason, thought that telling me that it was a sweat stain was somehow better. He just wants you to know that he's working out, that he's totally buff.
Yeah, I sweat sometimes, mostly from walking around or eating a lot.
Now that you have some background, let's get to the actual story. Yeah, I know I prattled on for a bit. My bad. I mean, you're keeping the focus where it should be, so I'm hanging tough. It's fine. One night shift, Chaps and I are on watch, and I already know I'm going to have to do most of the work through this work set, the number of days in a row that we're working. Yeah, our work set was 3 days on, 2 days off. It was pretty sweet. And then the command decided to take me off it because I'd show up late or whatever, so I stole $25,000 from the post office. They locked me up in the brig for 6 months. For those that don't know. We're talking Navy stuff. That's my Navy stuff. The seasons are getting ready to change, which brings about one of my least favorite things, dress uniform inspections. And this time, it was the dress whites. God, impossible. Like, dress whites look really good, but... dress whites look really good, but they're just impossible to keep clean. Better not sit down anywhere or lean against anything. I hate it. Our team had been told about it a month in advance, but even without that, you generally get a good idea of when they're going to happen. I'm mostly of the mind of just getting it over with, so I had my things ready, and I was asking our boss when she wanted us to do it. She wasn't really sure, so yeah, I was pretty much on standby. Welcome to the Navy. Hurry up and wait. Chaps comes in late and says,
Hey, OP, I'm missing parts of my uniform, but I'll take my break later so I can go and get them.
I'm visibly annoyed already. What? No, go get him. Right now. We don't know when the boss will want to do inspection, so I'd rather you go get him, just in case. So he leaves, and he comes back saying,
He lost some of those items in his most recent move.
I tell him he's known about this for the past month, and he could have asked the group chat that we have for work where he could have obtained these new items that he needed, since there were multiple bases in the area, and most of them Navy. Yeah, it's like the easiest shit in the world to buy. You don't even have to leave the base. You walk down the street. Of course, that's probably difficult for a big boy like him. So he decides that it's good enough that he ordered said pieces. Now, I know what you're thinking. Unprofessionalism? Nasty shirt? That's all you got? Dear reader, I wish it was. He had been gone for an hour on that errand and came back to deliver that excuse, and then not even 2 hours later he stops what he's doing and turns to me and says,
I have to go home.
I'm instantly puzzled, so I ask him, why? And he tells me,
I shit myself.
Uh-oh.
Forgive me for I have pardoned. I'm shocked. And I ask if he can't just, hit up Walmart or something to get what he needs, since he was gone for an hour last time. He said,
It's just quicker to go home.
I sigh audibly and tell him, fine, but I'm not going to give you your break anymore, since you've been gone for so long. Now, on nights, there's really not a lot to do. We get our work done, bullshit, read, or in my case, catch up with family on the Book of Faces. So it's not like missing his break would really mess him up. Eventually, while he's out, he calls me and said he's going to the ER. Another more than likely fake emergency. I'm exasperated, but yeah, it's not like I didn't expect this. I pulled through the night like a goat and carried on. He still has a rep of being the worst sailor at the command and being a liar, but thankfully he's no longer on my team because no matter how much time and effort you put into him, it was obvious that he just didn't give a shit. Oh well. I mean, it sounds to me like he's a master at skating. He just does the bare minimum to get by. Nobody's taking him to a captain's mast or anything over it. Until he suffers some sort of consequences, things are never going to change. But it is hard to make him suffer consequences when he's talking about medical stuff. A lot of times people will have some sympathy, be like, oh, that's important. I'm glad he's getting it taken care of. But at a certain point, maybe we do pop those medical records open and see what's actually going on. He might look stupid, but he's actually smart, because instead of just skating, he skates to medical. You get to do nothing while you wait for the doctor, even though it sounds like the command doesn't have you doing a whole lot of stuff anyways. According to OP, he's still in the Navy, which doesn't surprise me. This is the new Navy, ladies and gentlemen. We don't get drunk and have fights anymore. I don't even understand why people would sign up if that's the case. And according to enlistment numbers, more and more people are coming to that realization. Anyway, good couple of stories. First one was an absolute banger. Second one brought me back to the Navy days. I'm having a good time with it. I hope you guys did too. Sign up on the Patreon if you would. I'd appreciate that so very much. There's also YouTube memberships, but Patreon is preferred, if you're asking me. I appreciate y'all for watching the video this far, hanging out with me, and I want to remind you that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.